Zor'vak, a distinguished soldier of the Zalar, stood at the entrance of the United Earth Military Academy. His tall, muscular frame and scaled armor made him an imposing figure among the humans bustling around the facility. He had been sent by the High Council to observe and learn from the humans, a species considered primitive yet intriguingly resilient. Commander Harris greeted Zor'vak with a firm handshake, his eyes studying the alien with curiosity. "Welcome to the Academy, Zor'vak. We're honored to have you here." Zor'vak nodded, his expression stoic. "Thank you, Commander. I am eager to see your training methods. The Council believes there is much to learn from your species." Harris led Zor'vak through the sprawling campus, pointing out various facilities. "This academy has a rich history. We've evolved our tactics and technology over centuries, adapting to the changing nature of warfare." Zor'vak listened attentively, though he remained skeptical. The Zalar's technological prowess and disciplined military training were second to none in the galaxy. How could humans, with their relatively recent foray into advanced space travel, offer anything of value? They arrived at a large training ground where cadets were engaged in a variety of exercises. Harris gestured towards a group of cadets running an obstacle course. "Physical endurance is crucial. Our cadets undergo rigorous physical training to prepare for the demands of combat." Zor'vak watched as the cadets scaled walls, crawled under barbed wire, and swung across muddy pits. Their determination and intensity were evident, but he found the exercises rudimentary compared to Zalar standards. "Impressive stamina," he remarked, trying to sound diplomatic. Harris smiled knowingly. "That's just the beginning. Let's move on." Next, they visited a simulation room where cadets were engaged in strategic warfare scenarios. Holographic battlefields projected around them, and the cadets coordinated their movements with precision. Zor'vak noted their strategic acumen and the technology's sophistication. It was more advanced than he had anticipated. "Your simulations are quite detailed," Zor'vak acknowledged. "We use similar technology, though on a larger scale." Harris nodded. "It's essential to prepare them for real-world scenarios, but what truly sets us apart is our adaptability and creativity in the face of adversity." As the tour continued, Zor'vak began to see glimpses of what Harris had described. The cadets displayed a remarkable ability to think on their feet, improvising and adapting to unexpected challenges during their exercises. It was a stark contrast to the rigid, highly regimented training of the Zalar. By the end of the day, Zor'vak's skepticism had given way to a cautious curiosity. The humans, though lacking in some areas, possessed a unique and potent combination of resilience, creativity, and unpredictability. He could sense there was more to learn here than he had initially thought. "Thank you for the tour, Commander Harris," Zor'vak said as they stood outside the Academy's main building. "I look forward to observing more in the coming days." Harris smiled. "You're welcome, Zor'vak. We're just getting started." As Zor'vak walked back to his quarters, he couldn't shake the feeling that this visit would be more enlightening than he had ever anticipated. The humans were full of surprises, and he was determined to uncover all their secrets. Zor'vak's second day at the Academy began with a renewed sense of curiosity. The previous day's tour had hinted at complexities within human training that he had not expected. Today, he would delve deeper into their methods. Commander Harris met him at the training grounds. "Today, you'll see our cadets in action. We have a series of exercises lined up that demonstrate different aspects of our training." They approached a group of cadets engaged in a high-intensity combat drill. Zor'vak observed closely as the cadets sparred with a ferocity that was both impressive and unsettling. Their movements were precise, but there was an element of raw aggression that was absent in Zalar training. Harris explained, "Hand-to-hand combat is crucial. Our cadets must be prepared to fight in close quarters, where quick thinking and adaptability are key." Zor'vak watched as one cadet, smaller and seemingly less strong than his opponent, used agility and leverage to gain the upper hand. It was a display of clever tactics and quick reflexes that caught Zor'vak off guard. "Your cadets are resourceful," Zor'vak commented. "They seem to rely on improvisation rather than strict adherence to form." "Exactly," Harris replied. "We encourage them to think on their feet. Flexibility can be the difference between victory and defeat." Next, they moved to a survival training area where cadets were learning to endure extreme conditions. Zor'vak saw cadets navigating through a dense forest, foraging for food, and setting up makeshift shelters. The conditions were harsh, and the cadets' determination was palpable. Survival training pushes them to their limits, Harris said. They need to be able to operate independently, adapt to their environment, and overcome adversity with minimal resources. Zor'vak could see the value in such training. The Z'alar prided themselves on their technological superiority, but this raw, primal survival instinct was something they had largely overlooked. It was another point of admiration, mingled with a growing unease. They proceeded to an indoor facility where cadets were engaged in psychological resilience training. The room was filled with various simulations designed to test mental fortitude, loud noises, flashing lights, and disorienting environments. Cadets were put through scenarios meant to induce stress and panic, forcing them to remain calm and composed. "This is where we test their mental strength," Harris explained. "Combat isn't just physical, it's psychological. They must be able to handle pressure and make decisions under extreme stress." Zor'vak watched as a cadet maintained his composure through a particularly intense simulation. The young human's ability to remain focused despite the chaos around him was impressive. This emphasis on psychological endurance was another layer to the human's multifaceted approach to training. By the end of the day, Zor'vak felt a growing respect for the human cadets. Their training was unconventional, but it bred a kind of resilience and creativity that was both fascinating and formidable. The more he observed, the more he realized how much the Z'alar could learn from these seemingly primitive beings. As Zor'vak retired to his quarters, he couldn't shake the feeling of unease. The humans were not to be underestimated. Their unpredictable nature and adaptability made them formidable opponents. He began to wonder if his initial arrogance had been misplaced. There was much more to the human military than met the eye, and he was determined to uncover all its secrets. Zor'vak's third day at the academy began with a mix of anticipation and trepidation. The intensity of the human training had already left a significant impression on him, but today he would witness their most unconventional techniques. Commander Harris greeted him with a knowing smile. "Ready for another day of surprises?" Zor'vak inclined his head. "Indeed. Your methods have proven quite enlightening." Harris led him to a remote part of the academy, where a group of cadets was gathered around a makeshift battlefield. "Today, you'll see our cadets engage in what we call guerrilla tactics training. We simulate scenarios where they must use their environment and limited resources to outmaneuver and defeat a superior force." Zor'vak watched as the cadets dispersed into the surrounding area. They blended seamlessly with the terrain, using natural cover and creating traps and diversions. The ingenuity and adaptability on display were remarkable. One cadet led a small group in an ambush, using smoke bombs and decoys to confuse their enemy. "They're like shadows," Zor'vak observed. "Your cadets excel in using the environment to their advantage." "That's the idea," Harris replied. "In a real conflict, they might face an enemy with superior firepower. They need to know how to level the playing field." Next, they visited the Academy's Advanced Tactical Simulation Room. Here, cadets participated in complex, multifaceted scenarios that required quick thinking and coordination. The room was a marvel of holographic technology, creating hyper-realistic environments where cadets faced everything from hostage situations to urban warfare. Zor'vak was particularly impressed by a scenario where cadets had to infiltrate a heavily guarded facility to rescue hostages. They moved with precision, communicated efficiently, and adapted to changing conditions with ease. It was a far cry from the rigid, predictable drills he was accustomed to. "Your simulations are exceptionally detailed," Zor'vak remarked, "but what truly stands out is your cadets' ability to adapt in real time." Harris nodded. "Flexibility and quick thinking are critical. Our enemies won't wait for us to formulate a perfect plan. We must be ready to act on the fly." In the afternoon, Harris took Zor'vak to an outdoor area where cadets were practicing combat in extreme environments. They faced scenarios involving harsh weather conditions, from blistering heat to freezing cold, and had to continue their missions despite the physical toll. Zor'vak watched as cadets navigated through a simulated blizzard, working together to find shelter and complete their objectives. Their endurance and determination were striking. The Zalar relied heavily on technology to mitigate environmental challenges, but these humans were trained to push through regardless of the odds. "Your cadets are remarkably resilient," Zor'vak said, his tone filled with genuine respect. "They endure conditions that would break many of my kind." "It's all about mental toughness," Harris replied. "We train them to push beyond their limits, to find strength when they think they have none left." By the end of the day, Zor'vak felt a profound sense of awe. The humans' unconventional methods, using their environment, adapting on the fly and pushing their physical and mental limits, were unlike anything he had experienced. They were chaotic, unpredictable, and incredibly effective. As he returned to his quarters, Zor'vak couldn't help but reflect on the implications of what he had seen. The Zalar valued order and precision, but the humans' strength lay in their chaos and adaptability. It was a lesson he would take back to his superiors, a lesson that might change the way the Zalar approached future conflicts. For now, Zor'vak was left with a deep respect for the humans and a newfound understanding of their capabilities. The thought of facing them in battle was both thrilling and terrifying. He realized that this visit was not just about learning from the humans, it was about understanding a new way of thinking, one that might hold the key to future victories. On his final day at the academy, Zor'vak was filled with a sense of apprehension and respect. The humans had shown him their training's physical, strategic, and psychological aspects. Today, he would see how all these elements came together in a comprehensive exercise designed to test the cadets' readiness for real combat. Commander Harris greeted Zor'vak with a firm handshake. "Today, you'll witness our final exercise, the Gauntlet. It's a multi-stage test that pushes cadets to their limits, combining everything they've learned." Zor'vak followed Harris to a vast training field where the cadets were preparing for the challenge ahead. The air buzzed with anticipation and determination. The gauntlet consisted of several stages: an obstacle course, a strategic combat simulation, a survival scenario, and a psychological resilience test. The exercise began with the obstacle course. Zor'vak watched as the cadets raced through it with intense focus, demonstrating their physical prowess. They scaled walls, swung across gaps, and crawled through tight spaces, all while maintaining a relentless pace. It was grueling, but the cadets pushed through with sheer willpower. "Impressive stamina and determination," Zor'vak commented. Harris nodded. "This is just the beginning. The real test is how they perform under pressure in a combat scenario." Next, the cadets moved to the strategic combat simulation. The field transformed into a mock urban environment, complete with buildings, alleys, and hiding spots. The cadets split into teams, each tasked with different objectives. Zor'vak watched as they coordinated their movements, communicated efficiently, and adapted to the evolving situation. He noticed one team encountering an unexpected ambush. Instead of panicking, they quickly regrouped, using smoke grenades to create cover and flanking their attackers. Their quick thinking and adaptability were remarkable. "Your cadets think on their feet," Zor'vak observed. "They adapt to unforeseen challenges with ease." "That's crucial in real combat," Harris replied. "No plan survives first contact with the enemy. They must be ready for anything." After the combat simulation, the cadets were taken to a survival scenario. They were dropped into a dense forest with minimal supplies and had to navigate to a rendezvous point while dealing with simulated environmental hazards. Zor'vak was again struck by their resourcefulness. They foraged for food, built shelters, and worked together to overcome obstacles. "Survival is about more than just enduring," Harris explained. "It's about using every resource available and supporting each other." The final stage of the gauntlet was the psychological resilience test. The cadets were subjected to intense simulations designed to test their mental fortitude. Loud noises, flashing lights, and chaotic scenarios aimed to disorient and stress them. Zor'vak watched as they remained calm, made rational decisions, and supported one another through the chaos. "Your cadets are incredibly resilient," Zor'vak said, his tone filled with admiration. "They handle stress and pressure remarkably well." "That's the key to victory," Harris replied. "A strong mind can turn the tide of battle." As the gauntlet concluded, the cadets gathered, exhausted but proud. Zor'vak could see the camaraderie and mutual respect among them. They had been tested to their limits and emerged stronger. Zor'vak turned to Harris. "Your cadets are formidable. Their training is unlike anything I've seen. They embody a unique combination of physical strength, strategic thinking, and mental resilience." Harris smiled. "Thank you, Zor'vak. It's our goal to prepare them for any challenge they might face." As Zor'vak prepared to leave the academy, he reflected on what he had learned. The humans were not just resilient, they were adaptable, creative, and unpredictable. Their training methods, while unconventional, had proven incredibly effective. "Thank you for allowing me to observe," Zor'vak said to Harris. "I've gained a deep respect for your methods and your cadets." Harris extended his hand. "It was our pleasure, Zor'vak. We hope this experience has been enlightening." Zor'vak shook Harris's hand firmly. "It has been more than enlightening. It has been transformative. I will bring these lessons back to my people." As Zor'vak departed, he felt a mix of admiration and apprehension. The humans were not to be underestimated. Their unique strengths and unconventional methods had left a lasting impression on him. He knew that his encounter with humanity would change the Zalar's approach to future conflicts, fostering a newfound respect and caution. The visit had been more than an observation mission. It was a profound journey into understanding a species whose resilience and adaptability might one day tip the scales in the galaxy's balance of power. Hey, everyone! If you loved this thrilling HFY sci-fi adventure, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel for more exciting tales from the cosmos. Your comments and feedback mean a lot to us, so please leave a comment below with your thoughts and theories. Thank you so much for your support. It really helps us continue bringing you these amazing stories. Remember, subscribe and join us on more epic journeys across the stars. We appreciate each and every one of you.